Life is built on trust. Every meaningful relationship, whether in work, family, or friendship, depends on it. But sometimes the people we trust are the ones who quietly undermine us. They smile in our face while planting seeds of doubt behind our back. These hidden acts of betrayal hurt deeply, not just because of what was done, but because it was done by someone we thought we could rely on. One of the most hidden signs of a backstabber is how different they act depending on who is watching. In public, they'll smile, clap for you, and speak highly of you. They might cheer you on in a meeting, leave encouraging comments on your posts, or even brag to others about knowing you. But when the spotlight fades, their support goes silent, or worse, turns into quiet indifference. This shift is not accidental, it is intentional. In public, they want to be associated with your success because it makes them look good. They know that standing beside you in front of others earns them respect and credibility. But in private, where true friendship and loyalty are proven, they vanish. They stop answering your calls, ignore your struggles, and distance themselves from your victories. Here's the dangerous part. This duplicity creates confusion. You find yourself asking, do they really support me or are they just putting on a show? That confusion is exactly what a backstabber wants. They thrive on inconsistency because it keeps you questioning your own judgment. Genuine support doesn't depend on an audience. A true friend will celebrate you when no one is around. They will encourage you when you're doubting yourself. They will defend you when others criticize you behind closed doors. But a backstabber, they vanish when the crowd leaves. They will not show up for you in the quiet, private spaces of life, the places where support matters most. The painful truth is this: someone who only supports you when it benefits them isn't really supporting you at all. It's not loyalty, it's performance. And the sooner you recognize the difference, the sooner you can protect your energy from people who pretend in public but disappear in private. One of the sharpest tools a backstabber uses is not an open attack, but a quiet cut. They rarely come at you with outright insults because that would reveal their true colors. Instead, they master the art of subtle criticism, small remarks disguised as jokes, casual observations that sound harmless, or words wrapped in false concern. They'll say things like, wow, you're really confident for someone with so little experience, or you look nice today, I guess you finally got some sleep. At first glance, these comments sound like compliments or simple humor, but the undertone is designed to chip away at your confidence while making it hard for you to call it out. Because if you do, they'll say, relax, I was only joking. This form of subtle criticism is dangerous because it's invisible to everyone except the person receiving it. To the outside world, they look witty or playful, but inside you begin to shrink. You start questioning yourself. You replay conversations in your head, wondering if you're being too sensitive. Over time, these small stings add up, and without realizing it, you begin doubting your worth. Backstabbers thrive on that doubt. They know they don't have to destroy your confidence in one blow. All they need to do is poke at it little by little until you begin doing the work for them, questioning yourself, holding yourself back, dimming your own light so they don't have to. True friends will correct you when you're wrong, but their words will still leave you feeling stronger, not smaller. Their criticism carries love and a desire to see you grow. But when the words are laced with envy, comparison, or mockery, that's not love, that's sabotage. Here's what you need to remember. Subtle criticism is still criticism. A backstabber will always hide behind sarcasm, humor, or false honesty, but the intent is clear. They want you to feel less than what you truly are. When you notice this pattern, don't brush it aside. Pay attention, because what they say in jokes often reveals the truth they are too afraid to admit out loud. Competition itself isn't the problem. In fact, healthy competition can bring out the best in us. When people compete openly with honesty and respect, it can be a source of growth, motivation, and mutual progress. But a backstabber doesn't compete to grow. They compete to replace you. And they don't do it openly. They do it in secret. A secret competitor will often present themselves as your supporter. They'll ask about your plans, your projects, and your strategies, not to encourage you, but to gather information. Then behind the scenes, they work to outdo you, often using the very things you shared in confidence. They might adopt your ideas, copy your approach, or even take credit for something you initiated, all while pretending they just thought of it. The danger here is subtle. They don't confront you head on. They don't say, I want to do better than you. Let's see who can grow more. No, they smile, nod, and act like allies in your presence. But when you're not looking, they're running a different race, one where the only goal is to make sure you lose. And here's what makes it so painful. It's often people you trust. Because in order to compete in secret, they need access to your world. They need to know your next steps, your strengths, and even your weaknesses. They hide their rivalry under the mask of friendship, which is why their betrayal cuts so deeply. A true friend will cheer you on while still chasing their own dreams. They don't need to copy you, silence you, or sabotage you because they know there's enough room for everyone to shine. A backstabber, however, sees your light as a threat. Instead of focusing on their own lane, they secretly run in yours, hoping to beat you at your own game. When you notice someone who constantly mirrors your moves but never admits to their own ambitions, be cautious. If their admiration turns into imitation, and their imitation turns into competition, hidden and unspoken, you may not be dealing with a supporter at all, but with a silent rival. The truth is, competition without honesty is not competition, it's sabotage in disguise. And the moment you recognize it, you reclaim your power by no longer giving them access to your plans, your energy, or your peace. One of the clearest but often most hidden signs of a backstabber is the way they handle information. In healthy relationships, whether personal or professional, information is shared in a spirit of trust, collaboration, and growth. If something could benefit you, a true friend, colleague, or partner wants you to know. But a backstabber operates differently. They deliberately keep you in the dark. It could be something small, like not mentioning a meeting time that changed or forgetting to pass along a message. Or it could be something much bigger, like staying silent about an opportunity, a deadline, or a key piece of advice that could have helped you succeed. They know the information, they could share it, but they choose not to because your success threatens them. This act is subtle, and that's what makes it so dangerous. When you miss an opportunity or fall behind because you didn't know what they knew, they can still shrug and say, oh, I thought you already knew. They hide their intent behind the mask of innocence. But deep down, they're satisfied because your setback secures their advantage. Here's why withholding information is such a toxic form of betrayal. It's silent sabotage. There are no loud arguments, no obvious conflicts, no open attacks. It's simply a matter of being denied the tools you need to thrive. You don't even realize you've been betrayed until the damage is already done. And that's exactly how a backstabber wants it: quiet, calculated, and invisible. Contrast that with a real friend or ally. A true supporter would say, hey, I just heard about this opportunity and I thought of you first. Or, don't forget the deadline is coming up tomorrow, make sure you're ready. They want you to shine, and they see your wins as shared wins. But a backstabber, they hoard information like treasure, not because they need it, but because they don't want you to have it. When you notice someone who consistently leaves out details, always seems to forget to update you, or conveniently fails to mention things that could benefit you, pay attention. It's not carelessness, it's strategy. And the strategy is simple. If they can't beat you with talent, they'll trip you with silence. Protecting yourself means recognizing that not everyone who knows your path wants to see you finish it. Sometimes the best safeguard is to double check, to seek information for yourself, and not to rely solely on those who have already shown a pattern of keeping you uninformed. Because here's the truth, withholding information is not just a mistake, it's a choice. And it reveals more about their loyalty than their words ever could. One of the most manipulative behaviors of a backstabber is their ability to cause damage while keeping their hands clean. They know exactly how to plant seeds of confusion, stir emotions, and create conflict, then step back and act as if they had no part in it. And when the chaos erupts, they put on their most convincing face of surprise, saying things like, oh, I had no idea this was happening, or I can't believe it turned out like this. This is not ignorance, it's strategy. They want to disrupt your peace, but they don't want to be caught. So they operate in whispers. They might drop a half-truth in one ear, share a twisted version of your words in another, or raise a subtle doubt about your character to someone who already questions you. Then they stand back, waiting for the explosion they engineered. And when it happens, when relationships break, when trust collapses, or when your reputation takes a hit, they act shocked. They shake their heads and even console you, as if they're just as confused as everyone else. This false innocence is their shield. By pretending surprise, they avoid accountability. The pain here is not just in the chaos itself, but in the betrayal of trust. Because often these individuals are people you've let close enough to know your weaknesses, your vulnerabilities, and your struggles. They know where to poke and how to twist. They know the exact thread to pull to unravel you. And yet, instead of using that knowledge to protect you, they use it to break you. What makes this so exhausting is the self-doubt it creates. You find yourself wondering, maybe I misunderstood, maybe they really didn't mean it this way, maybe I'm just overthinking. And that's exactly the space a backstabber wants you in, questioning yourself instead of questioning them. But here's the truth, chaos doesn't happen by accident when the same person is always nearby when it starts. If the storm follows them everywhere they go, it's because they are carrying it inside them. And when someone constantly plays the role of the innocent bystander while destruction unfolds around them, it's not innocence, it's intention. Healthy people don't create messes and then pretend surprise. True friends don't ignite fires and then show up with a bucket of water just to look like a hero. Real loyalty protects, steadies, and brings calm, not confusion. So when you notice this pattern, believe the evidence more than the excuses. Because pretending to be shocked by chaos they created is not an accident. It's a mask. And recognizing the mask is the first step toward protecting your peace from those who thrive on turmoil. One of the most painful discoveries in dealing with a backstabber is realizing where their loyalties truly lie. At first, they may appear to be in your corner, standing close to you, sharing your victories and listening to your struggles. But over time, you notice something subtle yet unmistakable. They seem to gravitate toward the very people who oppose you. It starts innocently enough. They strike up casual conversations with people who've spoken against you. They laugh a little too freely at jokes made at your expense. They begin spending time with individuals who don't celebrate you, who question you, or who subtly undermine your credibility. And before long, the backstabber is not just associating with your opponents, they're aligning with them. This is not by chance. Alignment is a choice. They align with your critics because it gives them leverage. By standing with those who are against you, they gain a space to share your private struggles, your mistakes, and even your insecurities. They whisper in circles where your name is already fragile, adding fuel to the fire without ever appearing to strike the match. And the most devastating part, when you confront them, they often deny it. They say things like, "Oh, we were just talking," or "I'm just being friendly, don't take it personally." But if you pay close attention, their words and actions reveal the truth. They are Moen. More comfortable with your enemies than they are with you. A loyal person doesn't have to hate who you hate or fight every battle on your behalf, but they will never strengthen the voices that seek to silence you. True loyalty means refusing to participate in conversations that degrade you, even when you're not in the room. A friend may not always agree with you, but they will not sit comfortably at tables where your name is being torn apart. So when you see someone repeatedly choosing the side of those who wish you harm, understand this: they've already made their decision. Their alignment shows you their heart, even if their words try to disguise it. And while it hurts, it is also a gift because it gives you clarity. The truth is, people who secretly align with your opponents are not your supporters. They are observers, waiting to see who will win so they can side with the stronger one. That is not loyalty, that is opportunism. And once you see it for what it is, you can stop giving them the privilege of standing close to you. Envy is one of the most hidden but powerful forces behind betrayal. A backstabber often carries envy quietly, masking it with politeness, flattery, or even what looks like support. They smile in your face, congratulate you on your success, and act happy for you, but deep down, your growth unsettles them. You can feel it if you pay attention. Their compliments feel strained, almost as if your achievement is a weight they're being forced to carry. Their words say, "I'm so proud of you," but their body language reveals tightness, hesitation, or a flicker of resentment in their eyes. And over time, their envy starts leaking out, not in obvious ways, but in small cracks. A sarcastic remark, a backhanded compliment, or a subtle attempt to downplay what you've accomplished. Envy is dangerous because it rarely shows itself openly. Few people will ever admit, "I'm jealous of you." Instead, envy hides under masks. It hides in false smiles. It hides in silence when everyone else is celebrating you. It hides in those moments when they change the subject quickly after you share good news, because your success reminds them of what they haven't achieved. The hardest part about dealing with envy from a backstabber is the confusion it creates in you. You think, "But they just congratulated me, they smiled, they hugged me, maybe I'm overthinking." Yet something in your spirit knows the truth, that the smile wasn't genuine, that the hug wasn't warm, that the words lacked the weight of real joy. Here's the reality. People who harbor envy cannot celebrate you wholeheartedly because your light threatens to expose their own shadows. Instead of letting your success inspire them, they let it diminish them. And in that place of quiet resentment, betrayal is born. Envy that is not addressed eventually turns into sabotage because they would rather see you stumble than face their own feelings of inadequacy. On the other hand, true friends are not intimidated by your growth. They see your victories as proof of what's possible, not as a reminder of what they lack. They can cheer for you genuinely, even if they are still waiting for their own breakthrough. That's what makes their support powerful. It comes from love, not comparison. So when you sense envy behind the smile, don't dismiss it. Pay attention to the unease in your spirit. Envy is one of the strongest predictors of betrayal because a person who resents your success will eventually look for ways to pull you down, and it often starts with a smile that doesn't reach the eyes. One of the clearest signs you are dealing with a backstabber is revealed when you finally find the courage to confront them. Confrontation is never easy. It requires vulnerability, honesty, and the strength to say, "What you did hurt me." A true friend, even if they made a mistake, will pause, listen, and acknowledge your pain. They may not have intended to harm you, but they will take your feelings seriously. But a backstabber, they almost never do that. Instead, they downplay your pain. They deflect, dismiss, or even mock your courage for bringing it up. They'll say things like, "You're too sensitive," or "It wasn't that big of a deal," or "You're overreacting." Some will even twist it back on you. "Why are you always so dramatic?" This tactic isn't just about escaping accountability, it's about control. By making you question the validity of your own feelings, they regain power. They want you to second guess your instincts, to wonder if you really are being unreasonable, to shrink back into silence. Because as long as you doubt yourself, they never have to face the truth of their actions. The tragedy of this dynamic is that it can leave you feeling isolated. You went into the conversation seeking clarity or healing, but instead you walk away burdened with guilt for even speaking up. And over time, if you continue to allow this pattern, you start believing the lie that your feelings don't matter, that your pain isn't real, that you are somehow at fault for noticing betrayal. But here's the truth. Your pain is valid. Your feelings are evidence that something sacred, trust, was broken. When someone truly cares about you, they don't minimize your experience. They lean in, they listen. They may even be uncomfortable, but they don't run from accountability because the relationship matters more to them than their pride. A backstabber, however, values their image more than your heart. And so they choose dismissal over honesty. They choose defense over healing. They choose pride over connect ion. And that choice tells you everything you need to know. When you recognize this pattern, you must give yourself permission to step back. Protect your peace by refusing to argue with someone who has already decided that your feelings don't count. Healing doesn't come from forcing them to see the truth. It comes from honoring your truth, even when they deny it. Because anyone who consistently downplays your pain when confronted is showing you not just their lack of loyalty, but their lack of respect. And respect, once denied, is the clearest sign that this is not someone worthy of your trust. Betrayal is one of the most painful experiences we can face, not because of the act itself, but because of who commits it. Strangers cannot truly stab us in the back. It takes someone close, someone we trusted, someone we let near our hearts. That's what makes the wounds of a backstabber so deep. Throughout this message, we've uncovered the subtle but dangerous signs, the ones who cheer you in public but withdraw in private, the ones who cut you down with sarcasm, the ones who secretly compete, the ones who deliberately withhold information, the ones who play innocent after sowing chaos, the ones who align with your opponents, the ones whose smiles are poisoned by envy, and the ones who dismiss your pain when you call them out. Each of these behaviors might seem small on their own, but together they reveal a pattern. And that pattern is betrayal in disguise. It's a reminder that not everyone who claps for you is celebrating you. Not everyone who smiles at you is rooting for you. And not everyone who stands beside you deserves to stand within your trust. But here's the hope. Recognizing these signs doesn't mean living in paranoia. It means living in wisdom. It means learning to guard your heart without hardening it. It means setting boundaries that protect your peace without letting bitterness consume you. And it means choosing to surround yourself with people whose loyalty is proven not by their words in public, but by their actions in private. You cannot control who betrays you, but you can control who you continue to trust. You can control how much access you give, how quickly you forgive without forgetting, and how intentionally you invest in relationships that bring light, not shadow. So if you have felt the sting of betrayal, remember this: you are not broken. You are wiser. Every act of backstabbing is a painful teacher, showing you who truly belongs in your life and who does not. Protect your peace, honor your worth, and never apologize for stepping away from people who smile at you while holding a knife behind their back. Because you deserve more than survival in relationships. You deserve safety, respect, and truth.